There's a statement that goes, "It takes a village to raise a child." Now, how does this relate to student loan debt? Well, it relates to it because I argue that society, aka the village, is collectively to blame for the ongoing student loan debt crisis. For those who say, well, I don't want to be responsible for your mistakes, I am not strictly advocating for anyone to be responsible for everyone's mistakes. I am not advocating for college to be free either. Rather, in this video, I will argue that the growing problem of student loan debt is more of a problem created by society itself, rather than by individual choices. When people bring up student loan debt, there are usually one of these two responses. On one side, people will say, college should be free in the US. It is free in many parts of the world, such as countries like Germany or the UK. On the other side, people will say, college shouldn't be free for various reasons, whether it be how college isn't for everyone, how many college degrees are useless nowadays, and the so-called woke stuff that's being taught at the colleges. The problem is, both sides won't focus on the root of the problem of student loan debt, and that is how society pressures people into attending college, and how many of us are mentally and physically hopeless into not going off the beaten path. When you graduate from high school, college is shoved in your face as a must. Now, you can be a motivational speaker to be someone like fucking Gary Vaynerchuk and say, control your own destiny. But many of these motivational speakers do not realize how hard it is for many of us to not stray from the traditional route, regardless if we have career aspirations where college is actually required, or if our career aspirations don't require college, or if we have no clue in what we want to do. Take, for instance, Asian Americans. From what I hear, many Asian American teens are coerced into going to university. Let me repeat, coerced. That means they were threatened into attending. They are told they are worthless if they don't specifically become a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. They aren't allowed to take gap years or pursue other careers either. The scary thing is, this isn't the only ethnic group that is faced with such pressures. Just about anyone who has parents who do not have degrees and want their kids to get degrees were coerced into going to college even though their parents seem to be doing fine without their degrees. Chances are, we are pretty much told, at least one point in our life, that we'll end up just working at McDonald's or some job that society likes to piss on if we don't get a degree.
And growing up, it was drilled into our heads. You gotta go to college if you want a middle-class job. And we even tell kids today, look, if you don't go to college, you might as well get a face tattoo. And then they point to Post Malone, and we're like, okay, that's one guy.
Scary thing is, it's not just coercion that causes people to go to college. Another instance is that how for many of us, we get so used to a school rest routine that we've had since kindergarten that we blindly go to college. I personally have experienced this as an autistic, and I'll go and tell you a bit of what being autistic is like. So, I went to a small private high school for disabled teens. It was what you may call a safe space. And I got used to the school rest routine despite having lingering dreams of being a voice actor or someone who's creative. I remember what my final years of high school felt like as if it were yesterday. Any change in my routine made my heart race faster than the speed limit. It was extremely difficult for me to transition or get into new things thanks to how anxious I was. Heck, it was even difficult for me to walk into a store alone without anyone accommodating me. And when I graduated, it felt like my brain has been completely shot into submission via intimidation and forced routine, and my brain completely transformed into the brain of a passive consumer. I felt too extremely hopeless in going off the beaten path to pursue what I wanted. My desire for creativity or to control my own destiny had been obliterated. Not to mention what I wanted to do wasn't listed on lists of possible careers. I just felt like I had no choice but to blindly assume that college is important, because what I wanted wasn't even considered a serious path. And of course, people did nothing but calm me down and tell me, you'll figure it out in college. And I argue that's why you see college students pursuing so-called useless degrees, despite videos online warning them. Mind you, some of the quote-unquote useful degrees are on the harder side. Many students are pressured by their parents to get perfect grades. And I know I'm not the only one who had this experience of feeling hopeless and lost after graduating high school. Now, I admit I didn't pay for my degree, but that doesn't mean I should be silent about this topic. After all, it's not just money that's been wasted, it's also time and energy. To sum it up, I feel that student loan debt is more of a societal problem because teens are coerced and intimidating into going to college thanks to this culture we have. It is important to note that making decisions while being coerced isn't the same as making decisions based on the idea of choosing your own destiny. Argue that if we want to truly control the student loan debt, there needs to at least be a paradigm shift. There needs to be more focus on individual interests and strengths instead of assuming college is for everyone. Not all of us want to be passive consumers the same way not all of us learn the same way. Some of us aspire to be more expressive and create things, and we need to learn skills that will be the building blocks for creating things. And I myself am trying to create my own things as well, because I'm absolutely tired of being a passive consumer, but that's a whole other topic. In addition, there also needs to be more awareness of careers where college isn't required. Let me know what you think in the comments.